fans, welcome back to Talking Mets and Rob. How is everybody doing? I am driving to Citi Field right now. Driving to the parking lot. Hopefully everybody can hear me and is doing well. It's a little crazy right now around here, but that's okay. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Make sure everybody can hear me. We'll be ready to go. So I'm just driving to the parking lot right now. Waiting. Get a spot near the spot I usually get parking, but that's okay. So I'm parking around the area before I actually go into the stadium, because what's the point of going to the stadium if I can get free parking? That is more fun. Free parking is more fun. Thank you. It's not a new car, I promise. I've had this car for about 5 years now. It's my baby. Just waiting to get parking, and then we'll be good to go. All right. So how is everybody doing today? And you can hear me. Good. That's good news. Just heading to the parking lot right now. Turn into the parking lot, because that's always fun. Probably get pulled over by a cop, which is even more fun. Illegal U-turn. Don't mind me, guys. Just give me a second. This is not safe, but who cares? It's Roosevelt Avenue. Nobody cares around here. All right, perfect. I don't block no streets. I'm waiting online. All right, guys. So I'm waiting for the gates to open up. How is everybody doing? Did I bring my rain jacket? No, I did not. I am one of those people that if it rains, I'll get wet. That's the way I see it, guys. The 7 line's not here today, Robert. The 7 line is coming tomorrow during the DeGrom start. So I'm in my season ticket seats today, which is in section 518. So if you're rolling up at the game, come see me or email me or leave a comment to let me know what section you're in, and we can meet up, have a beer or whatever we have to do to make it happen. So just waiting to get in the parking lot right now. They open up in probably about 10 minutes or so before we get into the gates. Everybody waits on the opposite side of the parking lot. I'm not sure why. But whatever, that's not my problem. The line's going to get pretty big in about a half hour in this parking lot. So, and plus with the US Open going on, there's not a lot of parking except in the Citi Field lots, because you can park across the street, which is called the Southfield lot, which is like the MTA lot. And then there's another one that's called the Marina lot over the Grand Central Parkway. But because of the US Open, they're using a lot more of the parking availability. And with today playing the Dodgers, and this, this series is basically almost sold out for the most part. Like the only seats that I saw that were available on the third market were like 531 to like 538, which is left field upper deck, which is usually is one of the worst seats in the building, to be honest, because you can't, if you're in 531 to 538, you have a hard time seeing parts of left field, so that's kind of annoying. But when you get in the building, you get in the building. Like when I was in 2015 in the playoffs, I was sitting in those seats because, well, I wasn't making a lot of money, so I had to get what I can get. And that's what happened, basically. So, you just got to sit where you sit, and it's October baseball, so who cares where you sit as long as you're in the ballpark. Ken, why am I not sitting in the owner's suite? Because I'm not just there yet. If you guys get me about another 10 to 15,000 more subscribers and help me out on that, maybe, you never know, I might be sitting next to Stevie Cohen. You just never know. Never know. But it's all right. I can sit in my season ticket seat. I don't mind giving money to an owner who actually wants to spend money. I don't know if you guys heard the news, what Steve Cohen did for Old Timers Day. He paid for all 65 of the old timers, getting hotels, flying them in, even their families. I mean, he paid for everything. So it was there was an amount put out there how much he spent just to bring everybody to Citi Field and put them up in hotels. it was a decent amount of money. You know, it was ranging around 250,000, which is like pennies to Steve Cohen. But it's kind of cool. The fact that you know, you have an owner now, and look, Ray Knight said it, right? Ray Knight said it best. I love the Mets and I hate the Wilpons. He said that, and that's something that a lot of people besides the fans, you know, fans said they hate the Wilpons, but you never really heard the players say it, or, you know, front office people say it. Like, not a lot of people actually said it, and it was always like that thing you don't say, and Ray Knight said it, and that's the way a lot of people felt. And if you saw the Twitter video that's been flying around, I'm sorry, the 7 train's rolling through if you hear it in the background. But that's Queens, baby. Yeah, so when they were taking the team picture of with all the old timers, Steve Cohen was behind the camera, you know, just, you know, taking it all in, and all the old timers are like, "Hey, Steve, come on, let's go, get in the picture." So that he got in the front, he sat Indian style in the front of the left side of the old timers, and was smiling like he was just a fan, like he was so amazed that they wanted him to be a part of that picture as well. Which, let's be honest, if it wasn't for Steve Cohen, this would have never happened. I mean, the first Old Timers Day since 1994, because of the damn Wilpons being so damn cheap and didn't want to represent Mets history. But it was, I mean, you guys know, Citi Field is basically looked like Ebbets Field, and you know, especially Fred was a big Brooklyn Dodgers fan. So the fact that he cared more about Brooklyn Dodgers than the Mets' actual history and the team that he actually owned, that's a problem. And Steve Cohen has changed it. You know, when he first became owner, he asked, "What did you want changed? What did you want to happen?" Fans said Old Timers Day. Some fans said Banner Day. Other fans said sign good free agents. And look, he had a Banner Day already, twice already, and he had Old Timers Day. Now, I don't want Old Timers Day every year. I think that's a little crazy. Because, you know, you're going to get the same old timers over and over and over again. You know, you might get one or two that wasn't here the first this year, but you will get, you know, if you do it every 2 to maybe I'll say every 3 years, you know, you'll get more players and more people. You know, obviously some unfortunately will pass away, but some that might been not here that were on the team 10 years ago might be here for the next one. So it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I was there a long day. I got there at 1:30 in the afternoon. I didn't leave until midnight, and you're damn right I went to work, because that's what I do, right? MB, I think we might get delayed for an hour or so. Maybe. It's a possibility. I saw that weather front, but again, you know, the weather is weird, because the last time, I think it was again in the Met Yankee series, it was supposed to rain at between 6 to 8, and it didn't rain at all. So in the summertime, it's very hit or miss. Like right now, there's not a cloud in the sky. So, you know, I know it's around 8:50. I think they're going to try to start this game on time. There might be a delay, but we'll see. They're going to open the gates in a few seconds. So let me just get my wallet. And don't mind me if I stay quiet for about 2 minutes. You know, I say hi to the parking attendant. It's freaking hot today, so they are working their asses off in this heat. So I like to, you know, thank them, and actually, you know, especially the people at the concession stands now, you know, now you get to tip them, because there's not a lot of vendors that walk around the stadium anymore with hot dogs, soda, beer, and all that stuff. They don't do that anymore, so that kind of sucks. So everything's concession stands now, so I like to tip them, because look, it's hot back there. I'm not going to lie. They don't get no AC, you know, and that kind of sucks. But, you know, I like to tip the people that work hard, and, you know, they work hard, you know, they're working. You know, just because we're having fun doesn't mean somebody ain't working in front of us. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I try to have a conversation with them, because, you know, they're there working their ass off in this heat. It's not fun. And, you know, they also work in the freezing cold sometimes in October, you know, when hopefully when the Mets make the playoffs many years in a row. So that's the way I see it. But they're opening the gates to the parking lot. Woot, woot. Here we go. Just give me a second. But once again, guys, welcome to Mets Pregame Live right here on the channel. Don't forget to please hit on that like button. I'll take you all the way until 5 o'clock, because the gates don't open until 5:10. And they ain't giving away nothing, so I don't really care when I get inside. Even though I like to get my my little spot in the Jim Beam lounge, which is always nice. Go, you dummy. Go, go, go. Let's go. It's not that hard. I hate with this parking lot. It kind of like narrows in a little bit. And you have to have 3 lines from the street. Yeah, I have road rage, by the way. You might not know that, but I have road rage. I don't like people who can't drive. And of course, they have 1 lane for a parking, which is hilarious to me. But that's okay. What can you do? All you can do is relax, enjoy, woosah your way into good things. But once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to Mets PreGame Live. Mets versus Dodgers tonight. Andrew Heaney versus Taijuan Walker. A solid matchup. Andrew Heaney couldn't, get anybody out with the Yankees, but he became a Dodger, and all of a sudden he's been 100 times different, which is crazy to me. Yeah, if you're a New Yorker, you have road rage. I think that's why when I go down south to North Carolina to see my family or to Florida, I never have a problem because, not saying people know how to drive down south, but there's a lot more space where you don't have to deal with a lot of people. So I'm just waiting to get in the parking lot. If you're just tuning in, thank you for being patient. I have no problem staying in the AC for a little bit. I promise you that. I'm trying to get my original parking spot that I usually get in yeah, again, Florida drivers do suck, but still, How you doing? Thank you. There we go. We're in. I paid my dues. I see Pinman. I see Pinman's car. Let's go. Let me get my spot. Sorry, guys. Don't mind me. Gotta get my spot. I'm gonna be messing around over here. I gotta get out. Gotta go to work. Get my spot. It's right by the exit, which is always fun. All right. There we go. Get in the shade, and we'll be good to go. Alrighty. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just getting my spot, and we're ready to go. All right. Got a couple of Dodger fans, of course. I mean, Dodgers fans, they're all around, so I'm not surprised by that. Don't mind my driving skills. I promise you, I'm a pretty good driver. At least that's what I was told. But all right, there we go. Beautiful. That's what we like right there. All right, guys. All right, there we go, guys. We are in the spot. I'm in the shade. No suntan, even though I probably need one. All right, there we go, guys. How much for parking? It's $30. Am I very close to Citi Field? Yeah, I'll show you. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you mean. Close to home. I'm like 10, 15 minutes away without traffic. So I'll show you where I'm parked right now. Don't come find me, please, if you're not here. So there you go right there. You'll see Citi Field right there. It looks closer than further than it is, but it's not. Trust me. There you go. So Citi Field is right there. Turn myself back. So I'm in the parking lot right now. Relaxing a little bit. People are setting up their tailgates. And it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a busy day. I can't wait to get my chicken tenders and fries because that's the go-to. And, I know a lot of people go for, let me get the sushi and let me get the pizza rolls and the pizza donuts and all that nonsense. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I have an Android phone, but I use the AirPods headphones, which are pretty good and it's pretty clear. No, I can assure you, I'm technically in Section E of Citi Field. If you've been there before, Section E is one of the last sections of the parking lot in Citi Field, which is on the left field side of Citi Field, and it's right towards the exit, towards the Grand Central, which I need to get on, so to get home. So, and usually, like I said, I usually park on the streets by the parks over there on 100 and whatever street it is near Roosevelt Avenue, and I usually get spots there for free. But you know what? A lot of people are already parking there. You know, it's almost the end of summer. So a lot of people are just having the last few days of summer before the kids go back to school. So, yeah, Bartolo Colon was doing like, I think somebody clocked it at like 86 miles an hour, his one pitch, and everybody, and I think he pitched to Alfonso, and Alfonso was waving his hands like, whoa, easy there. Like, I'm an old man. So, but yeah, guys. So, again, the Mets face the Dodgers. This is going to be a tough series. The Braves face the Colorado Rockies, but I think it's in Colorado. No, I think it's at home in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but they do face the Rockies. You know, we all expect the Braves to at least take the series, probably sweep. So listen, the Mets take one of these games in this series, they still hold on to first place. And also the fact that, you know, I think the Mets have the pitching matchups for this series. You know, you don't got Gonsolin, you don't have Kershaw might pitch in Game 3. It would be funny because then the Dodgers will put all lefties against the Mets, which is not a bad plan at all, considering that we don't hit lefties. And for Yippee, we're going to talk about Yippee for a second. Yippee, who kept on talking about Vogelback yesterday, and his on base percentage and his slugging percentage is as good as Trout and Alonso. Yet, guess who's starting today at the DH spot? You know why? Because there's a left-hander on the mound, and Ruff is batting right behind Alonso as always. So, when you have a guy who, according to Yippee, has the slugging percentage of Trout, better than Trout and Alonso, yet you can't play him against lefties, that's not the platoon I want. I'd rather have a solid DH who can hit righties and lefties consistently than a guy. Because, again, like I said, and we're going to go for this 10 for 10 again because I love it. Vogelback can go 10 for 10 with 5 home runs and 10 RBIs in 10 at-bats. When there's a lefty on the mound the next day, Ruff is playing and Vogelback's sitting. That's the problem. So, like I said, Ruff hasn't had a home run as a Mets. He has been disappointing for the most part. The Mets have been struggling offensively, you know, ever since probably the road trip. Basically, they haven't been scoring. But the Mets seem to always find a way to turn it on. And let's be honest, there's no mistake that I think Lindor is 1 for his last, like, 29 maybe 1 for 39. Merlin, how you doing, hon? 1 for their last 30 or so, or something like that. Like, it's been bad. And there's no mistaking that the offense has struggled ever since Lindor has been struggling. Like I said, the offense struggles when Lindor and Alonso don't perform. Like, it's very simple. You know, as much as Nimmo can be the jump starter and Marte has been so consistent, Canna has been out of his mind. When Lindor or Alonso don't go, it messes up the flow of that first 5 to 6 batters in the lineup. And we all know about 7 through 9, which is a disaster. With, if you want to put Escobar or the catching situation, or even Beatty for that matter, even though he's young, I'm not going to go crazy on him. I like it. So it is going to be a packed house tonight, guys. So, Ken, why is my audio in and out? Because I don't know. I can't tell you. Probably the service. We'll see. Most likely. Probably the service. Yeah, exactly. They get the job done. You know, even when they're struggling to score runs, they still find a way to win ball games and win series. So, I mean, listen, I don't know how this team's done it, except that the fact that they got 82 wins on the year, and you look at the roster, and like I said, when we got Escobar, we got Marte, we got Cannon, we got Scherzer. Scherzer obviously was the biggest signing, but what they got professional ball players, actual professional ball players who play their game, and a lot of times they don't make mistakes. They do their job, and that's the most important thing. And as much as Escobar has struggled offensively, he's been pretty good defensively. He still hits well right-handed. Left-handed, he's garbage, but you still got professional players. And like Marte, playing to the back of his baseball card. Canna is playing over his baseball card. He's hitting 35 points over his career average. And he's been one of the Mets' best hitter on that road trip and continuing to play very well. So, and remember, we got Tyler Naquin because Epler didn't believe that Canna can hold down left field on his own because he was struggling against right-handers. And they got Naquin to platoon with Canna. And what that did, you could say that lit a fire under Canna's ass and got him going. But let's be honest, Canna's probably looking at Naquin and be like, this guy's garbage. Like, you serious? So, we brought in Vogelback and Ruff to replace Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis. Have they done better than that? Yes. Have they done what a DH is supposed to do? No. Consistency is one thing. I don't need Vogelback having a 350 on base percentage. I don't care about that for a DH. That's why we have Nimmo and Canna and Marte, guys like that who have high on base percentage. Everybody else, no. Sorry. Not good in my book. So, again, we needed power at the DH spot. That was the problem. If we didn't need power at the DH spot, why didn't you just continue to go with Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis? They weren't providing any power, so you might as well just keep them and keep your you could have kept Holderman and kept your lower level 3 prospects and J.D. Davis if that was the case. You were looking to provide the power, and yes, Vogelback, I think he has 16 home runs on the season. That's fine, but it's still not exactly what the Mets were looking for. The Mets were looking for consistency at the DH spot. Why I wanted a guy like Trey Mancini. I know JD Martinez has fell off in the second half with the Red Sox, but I think a change of scenery would have been better for JD Martinez. And you look at a guy like Brandon Drury. He hasn't been hitting well with the Padres, but I think the Padres, as soon as you put on that jersey, you perform just like the Padres always do, and they choke. So I think Brandon Drury would have been good coming back to a team that he's familiar with. I think that would have helped us a lot more because Brandon Drury's average is pretty good, and he's a home run type of hitter. I know Vogelback has had better numbers on their respective teams since they've been traded, but I wanted a more consistent hitter who can hit lefties and righties. So when that guy is hot, you can continue to leave him in this lineup. Like, put it this way. The Dodgers, I think they have 2 lefties in the bullpen, maybe possibly 3. If they continue to leave lefties after their start and bring in lefties, more lefties in when they're bringing their bullpen, well, Vogelback's not going to get any playing time these next 2 games. So that lovely slugging percentage that some people want to talk about means absolutely nothing if you can't stand in the box. And that's the problem I have. Like, you basically tying up Buck Showalter's hands because, like I said, if Vogelback is hot as can be, and tomorrow there's a lefty on the mound, are you going to put Vogelback in the lineup knowing he can't hit lefties? No. So the fact of the matter is, to platoon in analytical thinking makes sense in this analytical world that we live in with Major League Baseball. The problem with that is that no given time are you going to have consistency at that DH spot. Vogelback was hot when we first got him, right? Hitting home runs, getting big hits. Oh, a lefty's on the mound? Ruff is in. So the hot Vogelback is sitting again. That makes no sense to me. The same thing for Ruff. If Ruff gets hot in these next 2 games and say Kershaw doesn't pitch game 3 and they put in a right-hander for whatever reason to start on Thursday, well, Vogelback's going to start. And that's stupid. That's not a good way. That's not how baseball is. You keep the hot hand in the lineup. It's always been like that in baseball. I wouldn't say Walker. I don't want to say I don't have no confidence in Walker because Walker surprised me enough times this year. And there was a couple of times this year, like the Yankee series at Yankee Stadium, where he pitched well. The Mets couldn't score. And that's a good point with the Dodgers. Again, record-wise, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. I think the Dodgers are a real threat to the Mets, and obviously, but you know what? If the Mets stay where they are and win the division, they're lined up for a chance to. Somebody's going to get knocked off. The Braves might get knocked off in the DS, or you got to remember, if the Braves win, get in second place in the NL East and win the first wild card, they got to face whoever wins the Central, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry, excuse me. They got to face the second wild card team. The third wild card team faces the division winner in the Central. That's how it would go. So I think the fact that you have, look, the Mets, this is in the Mets' hand here. If the Mets take care of business, the Braves aren't catching them. You know, as much as the Brave fan wants to go crazy, and look how nice. There's no Brave fans here. You know why? Because they just lost 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals in really bad fashion. They were leading after the 7th inning in the last 2 games of the series. And they blown it with their closer on the mound in game 2, who couldn't find the plate. And then in game 3, Minter couldn't get anybody out, and the Cardinals took advantage of that with big home runs. The Braves aren't invincible. People got to remind themselves that they got guys on that team that weren't a part of that championship team. Nobody knows how they're going to do in crunch time. And that goes for Olsen. That goes for Acuna, oh, by the way. So let's talk in reality when it comes to the Braves here. The Braves are a great team, but they got a lot of guys on this team that, you know, they got rookies in Harris and Grissom that are going to be a part of this postseason roster. Who knows how they're going to perform in big spots? Just because they did it in 2 games against the Mets doesn't mean they're going to do it during playoff time. You know, Matt Olson seen the playoffs with the A's, which we all know the A's were never winning anything, so that's pointless. You know, when you go into a series knowing that you're not going to win a World Series like the Oakland A's, you're not going to perform well. And, you know, you could talk about the Mets as well. You could talk about Alonso, McNeil, Nimmo never sniffed in the postseason with the Mets. You can never see, you know, even Canna and Marte and Bassett. Yes, they sniffed the postseason with Oakland and Marte with other teams, but still, the Mets have Scherzer and DeGrom. Carrasco, who was a big-time performer when the Indians were in the playoffs with Lindor, oh, by the way. So we got guys that have enough experience in the roster that can do some damage. I think the Braves are going to be dangerous, but the Braves are the same team that don't have a great record against 500, better than 500 record. So they haven't been good against them as well. And again, I think the Braves are playing at home. You guys can check me on that. I'm not sure. I think they go to Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. But listen, the Mets are a good team, and for everybody who says, "Oh, the Braves are better," no, they're not. You know, just like I said in Mets Talk Live yesterday, when I left Yankee Stadium last year when the Mets beat the Yankees, and, you know, I'm in Yankee fans' face because I can't stand Yankee fans. I respect the organization. I respect the team. I don't respect the fans. They were like, "Oh, look who has a better record." Oh, exactly. That's the point. So you can't bring up, "Oh, look who has the better record," when you're winning and you have a better record, but say you're the better team when you don't have the better record. It doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, the Mets got to be a half a game better than the Braves to win the division. That's it. And as solid and as good as a record as the Braves have, they're still finding ways to lose very bad games. And don't think that losing 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals in that type of fashion doesn't hang over into the Rocky series. You know, I don't think they're going to see Strider in that series. I could be wrong. They might miss, or they might get him at the end of the series. But I think they got Wright going in that series. I think I believe they have Fried in that series. So it's not going to be easy. But if the Rockies play in Colorado, anybody can win that ball game because the way the runs are scored in that game, and the Rockies are a really good home team. So, irresistible chicken. Do you think the Orioles can push to second place? Their half game. Yeah, I think the Orioles are going to make the playoffs. To be honest with you, so I kind of think the fact that the Orioles have been playing so well, I hope they make the playoffs because that means they might actually face the Yankees in the National League Division Series if they get past that wild card. And how sweet would it be if the Orioles find a way to beat the Yankees? Oh, that would be lovely. Well, I mean, the Yankees can't beat anybody right now. They lost. They split the series against the A's. They got their ass handed to them yesterday against the Angels. That game, it seemed close, but it was never close. As soon as Ohtani hit that home run, you knew the Yankees were done yesterday. So, haha. But you know what? Look, all the Mets have got to do here is take care of business. You know, I think all these games in this series are going to be tight ball games. Now, I can see one game. I see a game like today ended up like 7-6, and the starters get out by the 5th or 6th inning. You know what I'm saying? So, and the Mets pitching haven't been the problem at all. So, I think that's kind of the point when it comes to the Mets. All they got to do is play Mets baseball. If they work the pitch count, increase the pitch count of the pitcher, make the pitcher work, I think the Mets can win the ball game because as good as the Dodger bullpen is, let's be honest, they got Craig Kimbrel. Kimbrel hasn't been very good this year for the Dodgers. So before we do that, before we worry about, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, you know, after their first, I would say 1 through 4, you know, or you give them to 1 through 4, 5 through 9 is not very good. You know, they got some good players, and they're solid. But, you know, if you control bets, and God knows what Justin Turner could do. Is he hurt? Is he still playing on Mount Intro? So, I know you're a Dodger fan, buddy. But, you know, Kimbrel's not as good as he used to be. So, you know, that's a little bit of an issue when it comes to the Dodgers bullpen. But oh yeah, Todd, exactly. You know, like I said, you know, like, look, we all know about the Mets bullpen. As much as everybody wants to kill the Mets bullpen, Ottavino for the most part has been good this year. Seth Lugo has been a different pitcher ever since he faced the Yankees at Citi Field right after the All-Star game. I mean, he's been very good. And we know what Diaz has been. And oh, by the way, guys, even though I'm not a fan of an event, if you go on any third-party ticket, TickPick, StubHub, whatever you want to go on, underneath it says Timmy Trumpet performing event under the Mets versus Dodgers. So, and Timmy Trumpet is throwing out the first pitch, and supposedly he's supposed to be doing the trumpet in Narco while it's performing live. I'm not a fan of that because I think every Met fan in the back of their mind is like, oh, Diaz is going to come in with a 1 or 2 run lead. Timmy Trumpet is going to be doing his trumpet live, and that will be the day Diaz blows the game. So, I mean, oh yeah, there's going to be Dodger. Look, Dodger fans travel. There's no doubt about that. And there's Dodger fans all across the country. So I don't expect, you know, like when the Mets and Dodgers played last year at Citi Field, there was a lot of Dodger fans here. I expect that. Like right now, I see a family of Mets fans and Dodger fans. Like across from me, they're all Dodger fans that are parked. So it's like, yeah, Robert. I mean, your comment doesn't go very far. I mean, Mets fans are going to say Mets are going to win. So again, you know, anybody can win this series. It's very simple, right? I think the Mets have the pitching matchup in this series. To be honest with you, I think Bassett is better than anybody the Dodgers can throw out there, even though it's still to be determined. They talked about Kershaw possibly pitching in that game. I don't know who else. We're going to miss Gosselin, obviously, because he's on the IL. So, Anybody they pitch against Bassett's going to be better. The Dodgers are scary, but guess what, Robert? The Mets are too. So they're a scary team, but again, they're beatable. I mean, as good as you guys are, there's holes in your roster. Simple. And, again, I think if you can control bets, which you probably can't, it's probably going to be hard to. I mean, this guy's probably going to be number 2 in the MVP voting behind Goldschmidt. He's that good. There's no doubt about that. And, the Dodgers are a fun team to watch. But they've lost some games this year that they shouldn't lose either. They're in there, look, did the Dodgers win yesterday? I think they beat the Marlins, right? The Mets had it off day, the Dodgers didn't. This is the East Coast trip that the Dodgers make. It's not easy to do that. Yeah, well, Robert, you know what? We're going to have fun for many years seeing who's going to be the highest paid team because it ain't the Yankees. With their bargain basement Trevinos of the world and, let's get IKF when Carrera was out there. But like I said, it's going to be a fun series. Again, I think it's going to be, one big hit in the game that's going to decide a game. I think that's how it's going to go the entire series. I don't think anybody's going to blow anybody out. And I think that's pretty fair to assume. Like, I think today could be a high-scoring game. I think both starters can get knocked around. I wouldn't be surprised if today's game would be like 7-6. Like tomorrow with DeGrom on the mound, and I like Tyler Anderson. I like Anderson a lot. I wanted the Mets to get him last year. He's a nasty lefty. Doesn't throw very hard, but man, he can throw some garbage out in that on that mound, man, and it's freaking good. So, I think tomorrow is going to be a low-scoring game, and who the hell knows with Game 3 of the series? Yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are going to let Trey Turner go. That would be crazy to me. And even if Cohen wanted Trey Turner, where are you going to play him? Trey Turner is not a second baseman. We saw that last year with the Dodgers. He struggled at second base when they still had Seager at shortstop. So I mean, he really can. Where are you really going to play him? You want Trey Turner to DH? You kind of lose his defensive ability, so that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh, so they did confirm it, Robert. Game 3, Kershaw. Okay, then because I know there was rumors that Kershaw is going to get because it was to be determined on the MLB app. So, all right. So Kershaw is going to be pitching Game 3. So, look, clearly the Dodgers set 3 lefties up in this series for the Mets. Makes sense. Right? The Mets had lefties very well all year. And listen, it's about time Danny Ruff has crushes left-handers because he hasn't crushed. He had 1 or 2 games that were pretty good when the Mets first got him. After that, not good at all. So it wasn't very good. So Citi Field usually opens the gate at 5:10. So I'll probably leave around 6 or 7 minutes from now from 4:45. So I can just get in line and just, get where I need to go in the stadium. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate some of the Dodger fans that are in here. Again, you can talk well about your team, but I can assure you nobody knows how this series is going to go. The Dodgers didn't look, like the best team in baseball against the Marlins, and they're the Marlins. Look, both teams are going to be up for this series. What I think the Dodgers should worry about a little bit, and this is coming from a Mets fan, is that the Mets haven't hit in about a week. And if the Mets get going in this series, they're very good. They're going to be very hard to beat. If Lindor starts to hit, and you'll know right away if Lindor is on his game in his first at bat. Pay attention in the bottom of the first. If Lindor puts a good at bat together, I think he's going to be good. And again, if Lindor starts to hit, watch out. Because when he gets hot, he's one of the best players in baseball offensively. And yes, as much as Dodger fans don't want to admit it, don't think the Dodgers for a second did not line up their rotation for the Mets series. They did, clearly. They clearly did. Knowing that, like, you're not going to throw 3 lefties in your rotation against the Marlins. They set that up perfectly for the Mets series. So as much as, the Dodger fans don't want to have the Mets on their mind, the Dodgers have. So I think the Mets are going to break out in this series. Again, are they going to win the series? Just because they break out doesn't mean that the Mets are going to win. Robert, I don't want to hear anything about the playoffs with the Dodgers. Can you actually beat the Mets in the playoffs? You haven't beat us since '88. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? So, and let's be honest, the Dodgers choke every year in the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. Look, like I said, May is not pitching in this series. Urias is not pitching in this series. Kershaw is pitching in this series. I like Dustin May a lot, but he's just come back, so I don't know what you guys can expect from him. But, I mean, yeah, Dodger fans talking to the Mets shouldn't talk about the playoffs. You can't beat the Mets in the playoffs. Again, that can change this year. You always see it, right? But, again, I don't think beating anybody during the season means anything when you face them in the playoffs. It means nothing. Like, the Mets destroyed the Phillies this year in the season series. What was it, 14-5 against the Phillies? If the Mets face the Phillies in the playoffs, can the Phillies beat the Mets? Absolutely. But it's not about what the Mets do against the Dodgers or the Dodgers do against the Mets. The Dodgers can beat up the Mets in this 3-game series, and the Dodgers can win these 3 games easily. But what does that mean when we face you in the NLCS? Nothing. I mean, it really means nothing. Again, I don't think the Mets are the double tag. That was great. I love that. What about Sean Green? Oh, remember that hit? Oh, I love it. And remember, the Dodgers had home field advantage in 2015 against the lowly, and let's be honest, the Dodgers were the team to win the World Series in 2015, right? They were one of the favorites. They were facing the Mets, who were good, but they weren't that good, let's be honest. And the Dodgers had home field advantage, and yet the Mets beat the Dodgers yet again. So, and then, Dodger fans can talk all they want. Yeah, Freddie Freeman does own Jacob deGrom. That's fine. Look, I have nothing bad to say about Freddie Freeman. That guy is a pain in my ass. And, he's been great for you guys. And, I'm honestly glad he's out of the division. I'd rather him go to the American League, but hey. Oh, yeah. Look, like I said, Rob, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I said it. The first 4 in your lineup is going to be a problem. After that, I think it's a crapshoot with you guys. Honestly, I like Taylor. I think he's just a professional. Here, Taylor reminds me of Canna, and that's what he reminds me of. Justin Turner is a Met killer. That's understandable, but I don't see anybody else that actually scares me after the top 4 in the lineup. And if Walker can control 1 or 2 of them, well, the Dodgers are going to have a hard time. Like, I mean, Pablo Lopez pitched well against you guys yesterday. I mean, he is not an ace of a staff. I mean, I put Pablo Lopez on the same pedestal as Taijuan Walker. Yeah, the Dodger bullpen is strong, but your close is garbage. So, it really gets you at that point. And, the Braves bullpen is very good as well, yet they looked human against the Mets. And AJ, any bullpen is a crapshoot, in my opinion. I don't care how good your bullpen is. You get your bullpen in the ballgame in the 5th or 6th inning, like the Mets tend to do against a lot of teams. And I'm gonna guarantee you, Andrew Heaney better throw strikes, because if he doesn't throw strikes, the Mets are going to take advantage of the bullpen. I don't care how good your bullpen is. Robert, what about Edwin? Edwin's the best closer in baseball right now. I mean, you want to talk about in years past, yeah, he's garbage. But Edwin Diaz is the best closer in baseball right now. And Kimbrel is not a very good closer at all. And if you want to go with him, you want to go to battle with Kimbrel, please bring him in the ninth if you got the lead. Because I don't like Kimbrel at all. I think he's a ticking time bomb. Now, again, you want to talk about what about Diaz in the playoffs? Nobody knows how Diaz is going to perform in the playoffs. But that doesn't matter at the moment. Again, Diaz can blow in every save in playoffs. But we don't know that because we haven't seen him in the playoffs. He hasn't performed in the playoffs yet. So, again, I don't know how he's going to perform in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean nothing. So, until you have a history in the playoffs, you can't say, oh, he's going to pitch bad in the playoffs. We don't know. He can pitch even better than he already has in the playoffs than he did in the season. We don't know that. For all we know, James McCann can play well in the postseason, even though he sucks in the season. We don't know that. And let's be honest, who performed well in the playoffs for the Dodgers? Will Smith, Chris Taylor. Those are the guys that do damage in the playoffs. Those are the guys that win you championships. Justin Turner. Mookie Betts. Guys like that. Muncy. Those guys weren't winning you anything. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Again, could we stop about the 2020 World Series, please? Again, you can wave your banners, you can wave your shirts, but you won in a 60 season. Kimbrel's a joke, Robert. I'm sorry. If you believe in Kimbrel, I will light a candle in the church for you because he's a joke. And David Price, we're really going to talk about David Price? Come on. Trey, Freddie, let's go. Those are your boys right there. Those are the guys I have a ton of respect for. Those are all-stars. Those are best players in baseball type of guys. But Kimbrel's not a good closer at all. I mean, I'd rather have Seth Lugo than Kimbrel. So, but again, I think if the Mets can control Mookie Betts, I don't think they're going to control Freddie Freeman because they never do. If they can control Mookie Betts and keep turning off the base path, I think the Mets are going to... And listen, Taijuan Walker's pitching tonight. Remember, guys, Taijuan Walker has the best moves in baseball picking people off. So Trey Turner is not going to just steal bases at will when he wants to, even though he's one of the best base stealers in baseball. Taijuan Walker can control the bases, control the base runners. So I'm not too concerned with base stealing in this game, even though it could be a problem. But like I said, what the Dodgers have going for them is what the Mets have problems with, and that is left-handed pitching. They struggle against left-handed pitchers, no doubt about it. Again, not saying Andrew Heaney is, a great lefty. I think he could be hit. Well, I mean, Robert, if Kimbrel closes out the game tonight and saves the game, that doesn't mean he's a great closer because he's not. So, yeah, and let's be honest. We could talk about the Dodgers till the cows come home. The Padres are always the Padres, so they're never a threat to the Dodgers. The Giants are 20 games worse than they were last year at this time. You got the Diamondbacks and you got the Rockies, who are terrible. So, I mean, the Dodgers kind of have a cakewalk in their division, but the Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseball. There's no doubt about that. You can't deny that at all. But just because Edwin Diaz might close out the game today and save, and Timmy Trumpet's all over the place in the ninth inning, doesn't mean he's going to close out and make saves in the playoffs against the Dodgers. Doesn't mean that. All it means is that Kimbrel saves the game tonight. He was good for one night. Diaz saves the game tonight. Well, he's been doing that all year. But with that said, guys, I'm going to head online to get into Citi Field. Mets vs. Dodgers game one, big series for both teams. Mets Dodgers split the series in LA. Oh, and by the way, without the Grom, Scherzer, Marte, and McNeil in that series, and still found a way to not beat the Mets. So with that said, guys, It's going to be a fun series. Who knows what's going to happen in this series? I think nobody's going to get blown out in this series. I doubt it. If it happens, I'd be shocked. But good pitching matchups, not really great pitching matchups, really good pitching matchups with two first-place teams. The Mets have to just play Mets baseball. Work the counts, work hard, increase the pitch count of Heaney and all the pitchers that are starting in this game. Continue to frustrate the pitcher. And as good as the Dodger bullpen is, remember, they talked about that in the Braves series. Oh, look how good the Braves bullpen is. Well, at Citi Field, 4 out of 5, the Mets got into their bullpen, and guess what? The Braves bullpen wasn't as good because they had to pitch a lot. Any bullpen, as good as they are, if you pitch them a lot in the series, there's going to be a hole in that armor. So with that said, guys, Mets versus Dodgers. Andrew Heaney, Taijuan Walker tonight. Game 1, 7-10. There's some rain in the forecast. Let's hope it's not too bad. But let's go, Mets. Beat those Dodgers. It's going to be a fun day. There's going to be a lot of Dodger fans here. Obviously, one, they travel. 2, there's always a lot of Dodger fans in New York. So let's go, Mets. I'll see you most likely on Thursday for a live stream for the game. So once again, guys, let's go, Mets. Have a good night. Let's beat those Dodgers. See you next time, guys. Great job, guys. Great job.